Footage I shouldn't have watched. I bought a cheap security camera for my apartment a few months ago. Just a basic one. Motion detection, night vision, cloud backup. Nothing special. I live alone, so it felt like a smart idea. At first, I barely checked it. It just sat there, quietly blinking in the corner, occasionally sending me notifications when I moved around too fast. Then one night, I got a notification while I was at work. Motion detected. Living room. 2:41 a.m. The weird thing is, I wasn't home that night. I work night shifts twice a week, and this was one of them. I opened the app. The thumbnail looked empty, just the dark outline of my living room. I pressed play. For the first few seconds, nothing. Static shadows, dim light from the street outside. Then something moved at the edge of the frame. Not a person, more like the corner of a shape, barely visible, like fabric or hair catching the light. It slid across the room slowly, almost too slow to notice. The motion alert didn't even trigger again. I stared at it, thinking it was a compression glitch, some digital artifact. But then it stopped right in front of the camera. The feed went dark. When it came back, the timestamp had jumped ahead by 9 seconds. Nothing moved after that. I saved the clip, told myself I'd check it later on my laptop. But when I opened it the next morning, it was gone. Not just the clip, but the entire log from that night. Cloud storage showed no data. I reset everything, changed passwords, even called the manufacturer. They said maybe it was an upload error. I wanted to believe them. Then it happened again. Different night, same hour, between 2 and 3 a.m. Motion detected. This time I was awake, lying in bed. I didn't want to check, but I couldn't resist. I opened the live feed. Everything looked normal. Until I realized the timestamp on the feed said 2:47 a.m., but my phone clock said 1:36. The camera was ahead of real time by more than an hour. I thought it was a software bug until I saw movement again. A faint human outline standing near the couch. The head was tilted slightly, facing the camera. I could make out the pale shape of a face. The frame flickered for a moment, and the figure was gone. I rushed to the living room. Nothing. The camera was still recording. I checked the app again. On the feed, I was already standing there, staring directly at the lens. Except I hadn't reached the camera yet. My hand froze halfway to the power cord. I watched the future version of me on screen turn slowly toward the hallway, and then the live feed caught up. The recording blinked once, and both versions of me gone. The app crashed. When I opened it again, all footage from the last 48 hours was deleted. Only one file remained, a new clip named automatically by the system. Timestamp: tomorrow, 2:59 a.m. I haven't opened it yet, but the camera's light just turned on by itself. I watched the footage. It's been a little over a month since I last wrote about the camera. I've been trying to forget. I deleted the app, unplugged the device, even stopped using Wi-Fi altogether for a while. Paranoid, I know. But at that point, it felt like the only thing that made sense. For the first few weeks, everything was fine. Then the emails started. Not notifications, actual emails. From the cloud service connected to my old account, the one I thought I'd already deleted. Each message said the same thing. New video saved. No attachments, no text, just a timestamp, always between 2:40 and 3 a.m. I thought it was spam or some automated glitch. But the file names were always identical. Camera_2, _59 _future, .mp4. Every link was dead. Last week, a friend of mine, a tech guy who'd helped me set up the camera months ago, reached out. He said he'd noticed some unusual activity on my account, even though the device hadn't been online in weeks. I asked him to check what files were still there. An hour later, he sent me one. Said it was the only one he could access. The rest wouldn't open. The file was small, around 40 megabytes. The name looked familiar. Camera 259 Future.mp4. It took me 2 days to open it. At first there was nothing, just my empty living room. No sound, no movement. After a few seconds, the image shook slightly, like someone had brushed against the lens. A shape appeared in the corner, not moving naturally, more like flickering through frames. The camera seemed to skip time. Then I saw myself. I was standing in front of the camera, back turned, wearing a shirt I threw away weeks ago, the one with the stain on the sleeve. I wasn't moving, just staring toward the window like I was waiting for something. Then I turned around. My eyes looked hollow. Not blank, hollow. I stared directly into the camera. My lips moved like I was saying something, but there was no sound. Just dead silence. The timestamp read 2:59:07. Then, for a split second, a new date flashed below it. Exactly 2 weeks from now. The video kept recording after that. The image turned completely white, not static, not darkness, just pure white. The timer kept counting. At 2:59:59, the feed cut off. When I closed the file, a new one had already appeared in the folder. Camera 259 Future 2.mp4. It was created earlier this morning. I haven't opened it. But around 3 a.m., I heard a faint click from the wall outlet where the camera used to be plugged in, like something just powered back on. The footage that shouldn't exist. I didn't open the second file right away. I thought maybe if I ignored it, it would stop. But every night since then, a new one appears. Always at 2:59 a.m. sharp. Always with the same pattern in the name. Camera _2_59_future_3.mp4. Camera _2_59_future_4.mp4, and so on. Last night, I noticed something different. The newest video had a smaller size, only 12 megabytes. It looked empty. Curiosity won again. I opened it. It wasn't the living room this time. It was my bedroom. The camera was facing my bed from the corner of the room, a place where no device has ever been. At first, I thought it was an old clip, maybe from before I disconnected everything. But then I saw the clock on my nightstand. It showed 2:59 a.m., the same time the file was created. And then I moved, not in real life, in the video. I watched myself sleeping, then slightly turning. A shadow passed along the wall, even though there was no light source. It stretched unnaturally, like something standing between frames. Then I saw my eyes open, perfectly synced with the timestamp. In the video, I looked straight into the camera. I checked the clock next to me. 2:59 a.m. I froze. The screen flickered once more, and the recording glitched. For a fraction of a second, my face looked different. Not older, not distorted, just not mine. The clip ended there. When I checked the file's properties, it said the video was recorded live. Except there hasn't been a single camera in my apartment for over a month. Tonight, I'm not sleeping. If something records me again, I want to see how. I opened the third file last night. Same pattern. 2:59 a.m., tiny file size, live timestamp. At first, it looked like my bedroom, the same angle as before. I wasn't moving. The room was still. But then I noticed small changes. A book I'd left on the desk was a few inches away. The curtain had shifted slightly. A pen rolled across the floor. I hadn't touched any of it. I never moved. Then I saw a shadow along the wall. Thin, elongated, not mine. It didn't walk or run. It leaned slightly, like it was inspecting the room, and paused at the spot where my camera used to be. I froze. The figure didn't move like a human. It seemed to exist between frames. My own reflection from the previous recordings flashed briefly behind it, like it was watching itself. The timestamp showed 2:59:38, then 2:59:59. The clip ended abruptly. I sat in silence, staring at my empty room. The objects that had moved, they stayed where they ended up in the video, like the room had remembered. I don't know what's happening, but it's not just recording me anymore. It's interacting with me. I can feel it. Tonight, I won't sleep. I'll watch. It knows what I'll do. Last night, I realized something terrifying. The objects weren't just moving randomly anymore. Every small action I took, opening a drawer, picking up a pen, even shifting in my chair, the room reacted before I did it. I moved toward the desk to grab a notebook, and the notebook slid an inch away just as I reached. I leaned to pick up a pen, and it rolled under the lamp, forcing me to pause. Every movement I made, every decision, the room anticipated it. I spent hours trying to test it. I'd plan one movement, then do the opposite. Nothing worked. The objects always shifted, as if they knew exactly what I was about to do. And then I noticed something else. Shadows. Not the shadows cast by light, but faint, stretched forms at the edges of my vision. They weren't stationary anymore. They mirrored my movements a fraction of a second ahead. I could look away, blink, even close my eyes for a moment. And when I opened them, the shadows had already moved to match my next action. I can't explain it. I don't think it's supernatural in the traditional sense. It's like the room itself is alive, predicting me, watching me, and recording every second. I'm terrified to sleep, but I can't stop observing. Every night the anticipation builds, not because of what I see, but because I know it will act before I even try. It's anticipating me. I've stopped trying to fight it. Now it's not just small objects. It's the whole room. Every movement I make, every step, every glance, the environment reacts. The chair tilts slightly before I sit. The pen slides before I reach for it. Even the blanket folds itself when I attempt to straighten it. The shadows are worse. They stretch across the walls, following movements before I've made them. I've tried closing my eyes, turning my back, leaving the room entirely. Nothing stops it. Last night I left the lights off. I thought darkness might give me control, but I could still see the outlines of the room shift on the camera feed. Faint, almost invisible movements, yet undeniably there. And then the books. I keep a stack near my bed. I didn't touch them, but on the footage they toppled slowly, one by one, forming a line toward the corner where the camera would have been. I don't know how much longer I can endure this. Watching it makes me nauseous. It feels alive, aware, and patient. Waiting, watching, anticipating. I can feel the tension in the air now, like it knows I'm conscious of it. Tonight I'll try something different. I don't know what. I just have to see what it does next. I knew I couldn't just watch anymore. The room wasn't recording me now. It was manipulating me, anticipating me, testing me. I spent the day preparing. I moved everything I could, furniture, books, objects, into a single corner. I cleared pathways, made the room as neutral as possible. I turned off every light, unplugged anything electronic, and left one small lamp in the far corner. Then I waited. When 2:59 came, I watched the shadows stretch across the walls as always. The objects didn't move at first, but I could feel it. The room was aware. The air felt heavy, almost solid. And then I moved differently. I reached slowly for the lamp, but paused. I held my breath, forcing my movements to be unpredictable. It worked. The room hesitated. The shadows stilled. The books didn't topple. For the first time, I could see a delay, a split second where the room didn't know what I would do next. I took that second and ran. Out of the room, down the hallway, through the front door. I didn't stop until the streetlights outside filled my vision. I don't know if it's gone. I don't know if it follows me now. But I escaped the apartment, at least for tonight. Tonight, I sleep outside. I didn't go back. I stayed with a friend, sleeping in a living room filled with normal chaos. A cat jumping, street sounds, a heater buzzing. I can't explain why, but the air felt lighter, safer. I thought maybe the room only reacts to me when I'm inside. That leaving it breaks the cycle. I haven't checked the files since. I haven't looked at the old footage. I unplugged the small lamp, and I haven't plugged anything back in. The strange thing is, I can still feel it. Not in the room, but in my chest. A weight, a pulse, a sense that it's waiting, patient, biding its time. I don't know if it will ever stop. I don't know if I'll ever go back. But tonight, for the first time in weeks, I can sleep outside. I'm safe. For now. It's been a few days since I left the apartment. I haven't gone back. I sleep in different places, always with some light on. I avoid silence, avoid being alone. I don't know what it was. A trick of the mind? Some strange phenomenon? Or something in the room that had awareness? I'll never be sure. I've stopped checking the files. I haven't touched the camera or the lamp. I don't want to know what it sees or predicts anymore. Sometimes when I close my eyes at night, I feel a pressure, like the space around me remembers me, like it's still watching. I don't know if it will follow me again. I don't know if it will wait. I just know that for now, I'm out. For now, I'm free. And that's enough.